All right, let's cross live now to Kinshasa, where SABC News Correspondent Chris Ocamringa is standing by with the latest on tensions reported on the eastern parts of the DRC. Chris, good day to you. Look, when we spoke yesterday, the opposition had vowed to stage some protests in order to disturb the inauguration of Tshisekedi. What is the latest on the ground? We understand that the inauguration went through earlier on.
Yeah, so President Felix Tshisekedi took his oath of office and promised to unite this country that has been seriously divided by this election. Many people in the opposition said there were very many irregularities. They disagreed with the election outcome, but the president called on the opposition leaders and the people who did not vote for him to rally behind him and build the country together. He also said that he's going to put in place measures to lift millions of Congolese out of poverty. There is a program in the DRC known as 145 territoires, which means 145 territories, whereby the DRC government is planning to build roads, hospitals and schools in remote parts of the country where many people are engaged in farming, so that these farmers can start selling their produce to cities and major towns across the DRC and improve their livelihoods. He also said that he's going to ensure that Congolese people live in dignity in this country and in security. He has plans in place to ensure that the conflict in the east of the DRC is brought to an end. He's working very closely with members of the Southern African Development Community. Countries like South Africa, Tanzania and Malawi are all supporting the Congolese army to end the insecurity there. There's a rebel group known as the M23 that has occupied very many territories in North Kivu province, and the president said that he's determined to ensure that in this second term of his, the conflict in the east will end so that the Congolese people do not have to flee to neighboring countries because of these conflicts that have gone on for now close to 3 decades.
Look, Chris, he also said, as we know, this is his final speech as he sits for his second term. He said he has heard his people's cries over unemployment, the promotion of women in society, amongst many of his promises. Do you think he rubber-stamped his authority in ensuring that these challenges will be adequately dealt with during this term?
Well, so there is still a lot of tension in the country because of this election in December last year. There are people, the leading candidates like Moise Katumbi and Martin Fayulu urge their supporters to take to the streets, to kind of disrupt this ceremony, this important ceremony for Congolese people. But the government of the DRC said that they will not allow gatherings in any part of the country where they see 20 or more people. It will be broken up very viciously by the security officers. So we haven't seen any protest, any demonstration across the country, and the ceremony has gone well. There are people who we have spoken to here who are very excited. They describe this as a historic moment for the Democratic Republic of Congo. This country has had a history of conflicts after elections happened, especially when they're disputed, and they've only had one peaceful transfer of power. That was in 2018. This is the second one. So very many Congolese people are happy about what has happened and the words that President Felix Tshisekedi told them during his swearing-in ceremony, promising to turn around this country to be a great nation.
And Chris, we know, going back to the tensions, we know that the non-aligned movement summit was actually sitting in Uganda as well. Are you getting any wind of whether these security concerns were even part of those discussions, and were there any solutions that were tabled at the summit?
Well, the people, especially in Kinshasa, are very excited. Very many people, voted for Felix Tshisekedi, President Felix Tshisekedi in this city, and they're waiting to see whether he will deliver on his campaign promises. He promised a lot of things, creating jobs, ending insecurity, making people prosperous in this country that is endowed with a lot of mineral resources, but a lot of it ends up in the hands of a few politicians especially, and the foreign companies that exploit these minerals. So the president said he is very determined to end corruption, which is one of the problems that has bedeviled this country for very many years. Many Congolese people have grown accustomed to hearing promises, high-sounding promises from politicians in ceremonies like this, and there are some people in the DRC who are very skeptical. They're just waiting to see whether the president will really live up to the promises that he has made. But those people from his party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress, are very happy. They have been singing, chanting songs, praising the president, and telling people that this is the beginning of a new dawn in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a large country endowed with a lot of mineral resources, yet many people have been suffering for very many years. So they're saying with President Felix Tshisekedi at the helm, things are set to change.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for that update. That's SABC News Correspondent Chris Ocamringa coming to us live from Kinshasa.